Good people, welcome back to Global Happenings today. We're so excited to have you again. A lot is happening right now as it has to do with the 2023 presidential election, which is still being handled in the law court. Right now, it is with the Supreme Court, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has decided also to roll out a fresh evidence against the person of Atiku Abubakar, and it still has to do with academics and his academic record. This one you've not heard it before. We heard of Sadiq, which Atiku Abubakar said he had already sworn an affidavit to it. Let's listen to a fresh one that has just evolved, and we will see if this will put Peter Obi at a vantage position, to get the position of the presidency. But before we give you full details of that, if you're not subscribed to our channel, please do well, hit on the red subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish our videos. Let's hit the ground. The president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has alleged that the 2023 presidential candidate of the People Democratic Party (PDP), Atiku Abubakar, used fake primary and secondary school certificate to contest the last election. In a counter affidavit filed at the Apex Court on Thursday, October 12, Tinubu accused Abubakar of submitting fake credentials to the Independent National Electoral Commission ahead of the presidential election. According to the affidavit filed by his lead counsel, Wale Olanibekun, senior advocate of Nigeria, Tinubu claimed that the PDP candidate bore Atiku Kojoli on his primary school certificate and Sadiq Abubakar on his 1965 West African school certificate and general certificate of examination (WAEC). Tinubu also contended that there is no guarantee that the former vice president was the man he claimed to be because of the inconsistencies in the names on his primary and secondary school certificate. He added it is the first appellant's acclaimed primary school certificate bearing the name Atiku Kojoli and his purported 1965 West African school certificate and the general certificate of examination bearing the name Sadiq Abubakar, as opposed to the name Atiku Abubakar, which he claimed to Nigerians and INEC to be his, that are yet to be explained by Jida Primary School Adamawa, which he claimed to have attended, the University of Cambridge Local Examination Syndicate, West African Examination Council, or such other credible institution with the capacity to do so. Now, shown to me, attached here to and marked as Exhibit 9 is a copy of the said Sadiq Abubakar's 1965 West African School Certificate and General Certificate of Examination submitted by the first appellant. On October 5th, Abubakar had filed a motion at the Apex Court to introduce fresh evidence of forgery that contained a deposition of Chicago State University Registrar Caleb Westberg, saying that he could not authenticate the certificate Tinubu tendered to INEC because the institution did not issue it. But Tinubu's team of lawyers are fiercely opposing the motion, requesting that the Supreme Court give a judgment only on a basis of evidence admitted in the first court of trial, where the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal had in September dismissed all the petitions filed by Abubakar. Now, guess what? This is getting very interesting. And why I'm saying this is getting very interesting is that gradually things are working out in the favor of one man by name Peter Obi. Atiku Abubakar, his primary school and secondary school is now being contested, though he came out to tell Nigerians that that was his name, that he has sworn affidavit to the fact that he has changed that name. But right now, that is what Tinubu is now hampering on. So which therefore means Tinubu has a fake result. Or let me say, allegedly fake result, though it has been confirmed that what was issued to him was not from, CSU. So Tinubu's case is already had been confirmed, and there's a deposition to that effect by Westby, who is the CSU registrar. And now Atiku Abubakar also, we heard of Atiku Kojoli. and now Sadiq Abubakar. Though he said he has already sworn affidavit to that effect, but if it is being authenticated slowly, Peter Obi will walk in and possess the land. Oh my God, this is getting really interesting, I must say. And I feel at this point that the court itself need to accept fresh evidence. Don't forget that Atiku Abubakar, Bola Ahmed Tinubu had sent a message out to the court through his lawyers that they shouldn't accept the evidence, fresh evidence that is brought up against him by Atiku, that everything should be done on the basis of what was obtainable in the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. But right now, seeing how the whole thing is going, he has also raised a fresh evidence because that evidence was not there at first. But he has now raised a fresh evidence that Atiku Abubakar had an issue with his primary and secondary school. So, based on what Atiku also had said and his team of lawyers have said, they say they have met up with all the requirements that will permit the Supreme Court to accept fresh evidence. So this whole thing is revolving around fresh evidence. If the two fresh evidence is being accepted, it therefore means the APC presidential aspirant or APC presidential candidate, who is currently the president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will be disqualified by the court, and Atiku Abubakar also will be disqualified by the court, which therefore means that the third position would take over. This is really interesting because as much as we know, the person of Peter Obi does not have any issue. Technicality should play out at this point so that things will go the right way, and it will make Nigerians so happy. My colleague is in the house here. What's your position on this? Because for me, this whole thing is getting very interesting. If the Supreme Court accepts, what do you think will be the situation? Like if the Supreme Court accepts the fresh evidence by Bola Ahmed Tinubu and from Atiku Abubakar?
Well, looking at things, excuse me, I believe that as it is, we're still looking at technicality. Even if they were accepted, the final say eventually is the judges, and they could go on technical grounds. Who would have believed that what happened in PEPT would have gone this other way, to the point that they even had to slam Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar and Obi with fines, despite the truckload of evidence. If you are a seasoned lawyer who knows how to deal on technicalities based on what we have already seen in our judiciary, they can admit anything. Yeah, the objections and overrules and the proceedings will always follow in the courtroom, but eventually it is the judges and justices that will have the final say. And if they decide to base it on the issue of technicality, that ends it. Really.
Oh, okay. Now this is getting very interesting, but what I am also seeing here is these two guys are trying to prove their cases, Atiku Abubakar and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And if what Atiku Abubakar has brought to the court is ideal for the court, it therefore means that in 2027, Bola Ahmed Tinubu will stand disqualified with what is already at hand. If CSU had confirmed that what in their deposition that what these guys have, automatically is not from their own school, it therefore means it is forgery, which which will form the how do they call it, pre-election, the basis for pre-election issues.
But you are looking at on the grounds of not having the power of incumbency.
Even if he has the power of incumbency, because the court here has to revalidate that, because that will be brought into perspective.
Okay, the courts can revalidate that, as you have said. The CGN, the Minister of Justice, all of them are from APC, and they are quite. And the person who got the Minister of Justice is actually an appointee who's also supporting Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Don't you think? And even the Senate President is also a very loyal member of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's cabinet. Don't you think that whatever clause that is needed to adjust to ensure that Asiwaju goes again in 2027 can be done between. There's ample time for adjustments of the constitution.
Yeah, and another thing I think, I get what you're saying. Another thing that I feel they may do is that he will now officially apply
to CSU
to give him his school his this thing certificate, which when they give to him, he will now present it on that this thing exactly. So I think that's why this guy is driving hard. Atiku Abubakar wants to get everything now.
Everything has to. If he doesn't get it now, it's over. Because if CSU have acknowledged that he attended that school, so which means if he can get the certificate, it is done. And even if they said his O level is not consistent, that is not correct, he can decide to sit for WAEC. Receive the thing. Does not matter. Just complete the entry level. Once the entry completed, he gives it in, and they give him a certificate. Okay, that's finished. I will go. Otito. The matter has ended.
So, which means Atiku Abubakar really need the case to be handled now. That's what we like to leave it. What's your position on this fresh evidence that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has brought up against Atiku Abubakar? Do you think this will put Peter Obi at